Hi, this is Mrs. Korslane, and I'm going to go over our lesson in digital literacy for this week for anyone who was not able to be at school this week. The first thing that I talked about in our lesson today is that next week we are going to be coming back to school 5 days a week. That's going to look a little different for digital literacy and for PE. Currently, you have one set day that you attend each class. Next week, we will start a rotating AB calendar. This is different from the AB schedule we've been using for hybrid. So we won't use that hybrid schedule anymore. We will use this AB calendar. And how it's different is it will start on Monday with a B day, and then it will be an A day the following day, B day on Wednesday, and it will continue to rotate for the rest of the year. Anytime there is a day that we don't have school, for example, on Monday, January 18th is Martin Luther King Jr. Day. When we don't have school, then that day is not counted in that AB rotation. So you can see by this chart that it's not always on a certain day that is an A or B day. You kind of just have to know like what was the day before. Okay, yesterday I had PE, so now tomorrow I'm going to have digital lit. So how you know which day you have which class is you look in PowerSchool at your schedule, and if it says 1A or 6A or 7A, whatever time period you have, if it says 1A Phi Ed, that means you have PE on A days, and then it will say 1B digital literacy. That means you have digital literacy on B days. And you might have the reverse. If yours says 1A digital literacy, you have digital literacy on A days. If it says 1B Phi Ed, then you have PE on B days. I think I said that right. Anyways, if you end up in the wrong spot, we will let you know where to go in a very nice way. So don't be worried about it. Just show up at one of our two places and we will tell you where to be. And your home-based teacher is going to remind you of this on Monday. And so again, just knowing which class you have A days and which class you have B days. Okay. The next thing that we went over in our lesson was we watched this video, which is what is cyberbullying. So make sure you watch that. It's about a minute long. Basically, this video helps us get back thinking about what we were learning about before we went into the break, which was learning strategies to prevent and stop cyberbullying. The next thing we did in class was we went over our cyberbullying web quest, which was your home assignment before we left to break. So it was not something you did over break. It was actually like the week before our team days. So most people have it completed. If you haven't, you should complete it now because you will need it for your home assignment tomorrow and you will need it for your assessment next week. So you're going to go to classwork. You're going to scroll down to the week of 12-14, find the cyberbullying web quest, and click on it. Oh, goodness. I'll just open the one that's already open. Okay. So you're going to look at your cyberbullying web quest. Make sure it's done. The first thing that I asked you to do was look up a definition for what is cyberbullying. There are many different definitions on the internet. Most of them will say something along the lines of it is bullying online. So as long as you're saying something that it is bullying with the use of technology, then that is a good definition of what cyberbullying is. And you're going to paste the link of where you found it. Question number 2 is cyberbullying illegal in North Dakota? The answer is yes. There is some mixed information out there about cyberbullying being a crime or not. And the reason that there is some mixed information is that the law is relatively new. It was not passed until 2019. And so up until 2019, cyberbullying was not seen as a crime or being illegal. And then that was passed by our legislature and signed into law by Governor Burgum in August of 2019. So most likely when you're searching for this, you want to find a Bismarck Tribune article that talks about this. And so you'll see the North Dakota legislature passes a bill to prohibit cyberbullying. And you'll see that in 2011, there was a bullying law, but it did not cover cyberbullying. So in our last legislative session, Senator Pullman, who is also an English teacher at Century, she said, hey, we need to add to this law cyberbullying. We need to make sure that we set a higher threshold for bullying that happens off a campus, on electronic devices outside of school, on or off school district property. And so that was passed into a law in 2019. Some people found a link from stopbullying.gov. And the problem with this link is that it was last updated in 2017 before the law was passed. And so this one actually says no, which was true in 2017, but is no longer true. So when we look at websites, we want to make sure we're finding the most recent sources. So that's the answer to number 2. The last 3 questions required you to look at a article and then pick 3 tips or effects from each one of those that were important to you, that stood out to you. So the first one is the top 10 tips to prevent cyberbullying. In this, we're talking about what are the things that we can do to try to stop it from happening at all, like to try to prevent it from happening to us. And so these are the ways that we can keep ourselves safe online. And so you just needed to pick 3 of the red text tips. And so some of these are ones that we've heard before, some are new. Make sure that you put 3 in this area. The next one is how to stop it if it happens. So here we're either seeing it happen to someone else or it's happening to you. What can you do to respond to it, to stop it, to overcome it? And again, you're picking 3 that kind of stick out to you, 3 things that you might be comfortable doing if you were to see this happen or if it happened to you. So you might put screenshot. We also call that document. Block and report, that's where you block right on the app. You report it to the app, to Facebook or Snapchat or Instagram or TikTok and tell them, someone is cyberbullying you. But you can also report it to an adult that you know, like a parent, a teacher, or a police police officer. I don't know why I blinked on that. You can talk to them if it's somebody you know. There's a lot of different things you can do. So make sure that you put 3 of those, okay? And then the last one was to look at 11 effects of cyberbullying. So these are the things that can happen to people when they are cyberbullied. And you want to pick, again, 3 of the bold text to put in there. And these are really the reasons why we would want to stand up against cyberbullying, is that we wouldn't want this to happen to people that we know, and we wouldn't want it to happen to ourselves. And so knowing the effects of somebody feeling cyberbullying or having that happen to them can help us better step out of our comfort zone and make sure that we report it. So you're going to make sure you have those 3 there, okay? So you want to make sure that's filled out if it isn't already filled out. Your assignment tomorrow, your at-home assignment, is going to be to take one of these strategies and to create a poster about it on Google Slides. It is an option to make a poster on paper as long as you take a picture and upload it to this slide. So it's up to you whether you're using technology to do that, or if you are going to make a hand-drawn poster, then of course you need to be able to turn that in so that the rest of us can see it. And so you're going to take one of the strategies to prevent or stop. So I would look back at my web quest and I would look at one of the 3 that I put here or one of the 3 that I put here. Again, it only has to be one, and then create a poster that explains that strategy. So if another student were to look at that poster, they know what that strategy means, or it's going to help them remember it. So you want to use colors, icons, pictures, and text to illustrate your message. You can use videos and memes, but make sure that they make sense with your strategy. Don't just pick them because they're cute. That will be your at-home assignment. The last thing that we went over in class was on our website, the Bismarck Public Schools website, we have some bullying resources. And if you want to report bullying, you can't just walk into a classroom and say, so-and-so bullied me, or so-and-so said this or did this. There really has to be some evidence. There has to be some proof and some report to really hold that person accountable. And so if you see it happen, or if it happens to you in person, you want to fill out the bullying report form, okay? And this form has lots of different details that the principals or the school resource officer would need to really look into the situation. So they want to know the location so they can look at cameras. They want to know who else might have seen this. They want to know how you know that this happened. And you can leave your name off. It does say optional, but it also says that anonymous reports are more difficult to investigate. So if they don't have your name, they might not be able to ask a follow-up question. You sign it, and then you turn that into the office, and then they will look into the situation. If it's a cyberbullying, it happens online, there is another checklist for that. And this one collects a little bit more information because in order to investigate cyberbullying, they need to be able to look at the social media accounts that either received the messages or sent the messages. So they might need to look at your social media to see what somebody wrote to you, what you responded back, that kind of stuff in order to investigate it. They say if you are being cyberbullied or harassed, you need to complete steps 1 through 5. The first one is that if you're under 18, you need to tell your parents about this. You need to make sure they know. The other steps are preventing it from happening to us. So if more people did those prevention tips, then a lot less people would be cyberbullied, and it wouldn't be as big of a problem as it is. If you do these steps and you're still being cyberbullied or you're still seeing it happen, then you go through these other steps. So report the issue to the website. That's the same as block and report. If possible, respond to the suspect. Please do not contact me any further. The police will be contacted. You want to make sure that you're not saying any abusive or offensive language, because that makes it less likely to be a bullying situation and more likely to be a conflict, because it's not just one-sided, it's that you're also saying things back. And so you want to make sure that you're not falling into that trap and you're not doing that. And then you screenshot everything that you've gotten from this person, you attach it to this form, and you turn that in with your police report. So that's how we can report it. It does seem like a bit of work, but we need to make sure, again, that we have that evidence and that support and proof when we make those kinds of reports. Thank you.